tell you my journey with ASEA a little bit too. One thing that I hear a lot when I'm over here, people often refer this to as water. Okay? I want you to know that ASEA is not a water. A water you have to drink a lot during the day for hydration. ASEA is not something for hydration. ASEA is a cellular communication supplement. And so sometimes make sure that you're talking that way, because when people think it's water, they think they have to drink a lot. This is something that it's only recommended that you probably take 2 to 4 ounces, or if you're an athlete, probably a little bit more. So sometimes people get confused saying it's water. This is a Redox Signaling supplement. It's a communication supplement. And so that you all are very aware of what that is, where this is the only place that you can get these molecules are in your body, in healthy cells, and a bottle of ASEA in the entire world. That's why it's so incredible. So when your body produces ATP energy, every time you blink your eyes, you turn your head, that means your body is using energy. So if you think back to high school, remember when you learned about the Krebs cycle? So the Krebs cycle is like, and you don't have to know this, but I'll just explain it to you one time so you can say you heard it. So when your body produces energy, there's 5 different stations in your cell, in the mitochondria. And so these molecules are spun off on at each station. So for 50 years, science has known about this, but they said, they're kind of like exhaust coming out of the back of a car. They're not necessary. It's only been in the last 15 years or so that science actually found out that these molecules are foundational, they're fundamental, they're critical for every plant, every animal, every lower life form, and of course every human. So this process, these redox molecules have been around since the beginning of time. It's just that we are now understanding how important they are. And now, for the first time in the history of the world, we have the opportunity to supplement them to our body. And so again, this product affects the sickest of the sick, which you've heard, to the fittest of the fit, with the athletic component, and everybody in between. Because did you guys wake up this morning a day older than you were yesterday, right? And so that's why we see people who start to drink this in their 60s, 70s, and 80s are healing like they did decades ago. And issues that people have dealt with for decades are getting often better. You can spray this in your eyes. When people say it's salt water, think about it. If this was salt water, have you ever jumped in the ocean? Kind of hurts, doesn't it, in your eyes? And it tastes really salty. But if you sprayed it in your eye, salt water like that, your eyes would hurt. If you pour salt water on a plant, what's it do? It'll kill it. Yeah. Have you guys ever poured ASEA on your plants? Yeah. They sometimes when I travel, my plants don't get watered, and I come home and I spray them with that ASEA bottle. Try it. Wait till you see what happens. Next time you have strawberries at your house, you know how they quickly go, spray your fruit, spray your vegetables. Watch what happens. Things thrive, and so do humans, obviously. And even though you can't see or perhaps always feel what this is doing, of course we know unequivocally because of the science what this is doing. Can you tell if your cholesterol is up? No, not necessarily, not unless they do a test. The other day I was with Ray Bone, who many of you, that's the reason you're all here tonight, over in Norway. She spoke, and she did my first test the other night with microscopy. Wow. But as we were sitting there, and it was very interesting, when she took my blood, she said, "Deni, I never see someone at your age whose blood is so good." Because she said, "Let me show you some other people your age and much younger." Because, I've been drinking ASEA. So she would show me people's blood before the ASEA and how it was tight and all these different issues. And you guys we don't make any medical claims. I want you, right? Everyone knows that, okay? ASEA is not a treatment, a cure for anything. But she was showing me fungus and mold and adrenaline and different crystals in the blood. And then after being on the ASEA, what happens? So if you ever wonder, go get your blood done, okay? But I have people who do biofeedback too who say, I've never seen people respond so positively. And remember, all of us in this age are at an age, and I loved it the other day what Ray Doon said about NISA. He'd said, I've spent a lot of years spending a lot of money trying to destroy myself, right? I might as well spend some money and give my body some time to repair the damage that's been done. Really, right? And so people, as I travel around the country and the world, sometimes I don't see people for a couple months. And I'll see them again, and we'll see each other and go, you look so good. You guys, I haven't, when I first met, in life I don't mean to pick on you, but I first met him in October in Munich. And then I saw him a couple months ago. This is a totally different man than I first met. His skin, his demeanor, his personality even. I was just explaining in the back room back here. So when we talk about water, water is H2O. It's 3 molecules water, right? This is sodium, chloride, hydrogen, and oxygen. That's what they start with ASEA. And the reason they make it out of salt water is because everything in our body is in a saline saltwater solution. Your tears are salty, your sweat's salty, amniotic fluid is salty. So if it's good enough for your body to create this out of, don't you think it's good enough for ASEA to create this out of, right? But when they restructure that, the molecules are even smaller. So you guys have heard the Grand Canyon, the phrase in the United States, right? So if you were to look at your hand, even though your hand looks very smooth, under a microscope, it would look like great big canyons. It's huge. So, but if you were to take the ASEA, see that chain link fence right there? If you were to throw sand through the chain link fence, whoosh, the sand would go right through, right? That's what the ASEA does. So it just goes whoosh, right through your body, okay? And that's why you can spray this on joints. If you want to see something happen very quickly, go to someone who's got real tightness in their hands and joint problems and spray it on their hands. Often we see people who, their age spots often go away. There was a woman the other day in Norway, and she said, you know, my age spots haven't went away as much, but she said, look at my hand. She is in her 70s, I think, and both of her hands had big veins. This hand, the veins were very smooth, okay, and on this hand they were very raised. That's the same story as I was in Norway the other night. One of the gals, she does biofeedback, and she was telling me about her family is very into health, and they have a lot of health products. And her father was one of the very last to take ASEA. He's like, oh, honey, I can take anything. We've got so many products. And her mother had been taking and thought, oh, I don't think I feel anything. Well, the mother went to the doctor and got her cholesterol done. Her numbers were better than they'd ever been. The doctor was saying, what have you done? But the dad had great big veins on the back of his leg. And they were very worried because if he bumped them or scratched, it was very painful. And within about a month, okay, they're flat. And so they saw, again, firsthand. So some people, when you give them the ASEA, I tell people some experience in 3 minutes, 3 hours, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. Everyone is going to respond differently. Just like if you take an aspirin, some people might need 1 aspirin for a headache, and some need 3 or 4 aspirin for a headache. And for some, they don't even think it works at all, but we know from science that it does, right? So this is what we're seeing. And I'm so sad when some people get off of it. They just need to give it some more time. But for me personally, I take ASEA as the #1 prevention product that I can take. The reason for that, I have 4 children, and I have 1 daughter. And 10 years ago this past winter, she had cancer. And now this is long before ASEA. I would have had her drink this by the gallons. But she's a beautiful, healthy 23-year-old yesterday. But I knew that that little body at that time wasn't saying, I need more chemo, I need more radiation. It was saying, I'm out of balance. And so that's when I really became on a really big quest to find things that could boost our immune system. Now, ASEA isn't not really boosting your immune system as it is, it's signaling for your cells to do the right thing, right? As he showed a cell phone earlier, you want to have, when we all think I want healthy eyes, healthy lungs, healthy heart, we need to think beyond that and think I want healthy eye cells, healthy kidney cells, healthy heart cells. Because at the end of the day, if your cells aren't healthy, you're not healthy. Bottom line. And so I want you, when you think of ASEA, we all know what a computer is, and we know what the operating system is, right? And then you've got all your programs. Those are great. You can have fantastic programs. But if your operating system doesn't work, doesn't matter what kind of programs you have, right? So this is like when you take ASEA, I think Tyler said the other day, it's like your body goes Control-Alt-Delete, reset, reboot, and things start to happen. We all know the word homeostasis, imbalance. That's what it's going to do. That's when your body can heal itself. Not too high, not too low, but just in balance. That's why we see people that have blood sugar problems. They often seem to get better. We see a lot of those. People who have maybe some mental, depression type things, often their moods get leveled. Women often notice that they aren't, that once a month it's not quite as bad, and their husbands like that too, right? We see small children that have some real problems with some attention deficit and some problems that we see many, many children suffer from these days. I've got many doctors who deal with children on that level. I have many people who, children that have, and again, some treatment are here, right? But who have tics, okay? Amazing, amazing results. So here's the best thing to say when someone asks you, would it make a difference for this or that? When I met Gary Samuelson 3.5 years ago, and because of what I knew, and after he explained all the technology, at the end of the day I said, what would it do for this or that, just like you're thinking about right now? He leaned forward and said, does what you're describing have a cell involved? And I said, I get it. I'm in. Because I knew if I could make a difference for people at that level, where we all live, breathe, and die, okay, where you're either healthy or unhealthy, there was nothing more impactful that I could do with my time. And if this isn't it, you guys, I don't know what is. Because this is not another deal. It's not a vitamin. It's not buying your soap or your cosmetics from somewhere or something else. This is something you cannot get anywhere else on the planet besides your body and a bottle of ASEA. And I wish as I've told many of you on Saturday, I wish I could take everything I know over the last 3.5 years and put it into your head. I was just like you in the United States when we were just getting started. I see the enormity and the potential of what this room can do. And for those of you, like I said the other day, if you have two entrepreneurial brain cells to rub together with this breakthrough technology, and that you're the very first people sitting here in this city, and there's only, I think, 500 people already signed up in Sweden. There's how many people in Sweden? 9 million or something? 9 million. Do you think there's a little potential as far as a market?
Yes,
okay?
Yes.
And not to try to impress you, but only to impress upon you the business opportunity that you have here. And I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, like many of you even in this room. But I am passionate about making a difference for people at this level. And because of that, this has turned into a very, very large income for me. And I have friends now from so many different places, and so many more that I have yet to meet. And when people start calling you and saying, you don't know me, but you told someone who told someone who told someone, and let me tell you what this product did. It will move you and make you go tell more people and tell more people. And when someone tells you they're not interested, you won't care, because you know that there's people who are looking for you. What I call ASEA is hope. It's a health opportunity for people everywhere. This is a major opportunity. But any kind of money that you ever generate with this company will be in direct proportion to lives changed. This has only been in this little town for a couple months, and it's just starting to ripple. and the waves will ripple more. Now, I want to make sure that all of you know how to get plugged in. Now, even though I'm passionate, I can't talk to everybody, okay? And I wouldn't have known, to come meet here, but it's because of the incredible system that we have. So, a couple different things. When you enroll as a new associate, you have your back office, right? All of you have your back office, and you know how to get into your back office. All right, that's your replicated website. Then we have a first look tool. How many of you have seen AmazingMolecules.com? Have you seen Amazing Molecules?
Yes.
Good, good. That is our first look site. Everything is on there that you could want to show someone. Now, you need to make sure that you're like a tour guide. So I've been traveling around the world lately, and many of you probably went to all these places that are so exciting to me. But recently we were in Rome, okay? And Rome is a big city with lots to do. And unless we had a tour guide, we probably could have spent a lot of time just walking around, not knowing where to go, right? So you guys, when you send someone to AmazingMolecules.com, or you're introducing them to ASEA, you need to be their tour guide. You need to know enough about them. You need to know if they're interested in athletics. You might want to send them right to the metabolites video. If they're really interested in business, I might have them look at the Genesis portion, right? If they want to just, if they want a quick little presentation, have them watch the quick draw, right? So direct them where they can see, because sometimes it can actually be a little too much information. Today we talked to a really intelligent man. All he had to do was watch the 2 quick draw videos, and he said it's good enough for me, and I'm in. So kind of get to know someone to be the tour guide. So then someone signs up with you, and that's absolutely wonderful. So you have a new associate, and they say, what do I do next? Well, I always want to know what someone's plans are. So what do you want to do with this information? Do you want to just take the product for yourself? Do you want to share with a few others and make some money? Or do you really want to run with this? What would you say to me?
I want to run with it.
You want to run with it?
Yes.
Great. All right. So I would tell you that even, you guys, even if you were going to go work at the gas station down the street, you probably would have to take a couple hours for them to show you the ropes, show you how to use the cash register and everything, right? So if you've never done network marketing before, or you've never done ASEA before, there's a few things you're going to have to learn. So I would say, fantastic. I want you to go to Amazing Molecules training, and I want you to watch the 6 fundamental trainings, and as soon as you do that, get back with me, all right? And then hopefully you're going to call me in a couple of hours or by the next day, or I'd give you a call. And she said, great, I loved it. And I'd ask her, what did you like best? What did you think? Were there some questions you had? When people don't ever get around to doing that, they probably don't want to really run with the business right then. So I'm not going to make you, so I'm going to run with people who want to run. But again, you've got to have a process, because personalities, what's your name? Personalities are duplicatable, not duplicatable, but tools and systems are. And if you want to have a big business, you have to be duplicatable. You have to have other people be able to go to a website, plug them into meetings that are not next to you, because if you're doing everything, you've just created for yourself a job. Mm-hmm. Do you guys want really you want to do something really right? So that's why it's so important. So then, if people are doing that, so we've got a first look site, we've got a training site, and we have one more site. It's called A-Team Support. Okay, A-Team Support. That is an encyclopedia of everything you would ever want to know or hear about, and all the presentations that we do in English are there that you can download and you can watch. And you can watch how to do a presentation and how to do the 2020. Okay?
Say that again.
The letter A, yeah. Team Support. Okay. ateamsupport.com. And then, of course, many of you know, and I'll say this, but I'll reiterate it. In the United States, we have a call called the Charge Up Call, and we do it 5 different, every single morning we have it. And we have testimonials, and you can listen to it even on your computer. I think they're going to start some over here as well. But what I love about it is your people can dial in, they hear a testimonial, a very compliant testimonial, that they can then go out and tell people, but we take people through a system. Again, everything's a system. On Monday, we talk about attitude, because with your life, with your job, with your family, your kids, your wife, you better have a good attitude or you won't get very far. But Tuesday, right? Tuesday, we talk about list. Okay, you have to have an ever-growing, ever-expanding living list, okay? And that's where you're always adding people that you think about, people that you meet on your list, that then you can invite. Okay, Wednesday we talk about invite and use a tool. You don't want to be a walking ASEA encyclopedia. Really, you guys, I know a lot about ASEA, but I don't go that deep in the science, because across the board, anyone who's ever a walking encyclopedia, when they tell you all that information, most of us don't even understand. What people understand is when all of a sudden they turn to their neighbor and say, you know what, I recently heard about this incredible stuff, and I've had fantastic results with it. Would you be would you be interested? You tell them a story, and you just have to keep it really simple, because you want the story. If you want to be big, you got to keep it simple. Then we talk about Thursdays. We talk about follow-up, and that's what we do. We teach you how to invite people to take a look at ASEA, but then you got to follow up with them and see what they thought, and collect a decision that's right for them. This is not about forcing anything down anybody, but I can tell you what I do with people is I really encourage them to take a look at this, because I say, you know what, write down today's date, because you may not, this may be the first time you've heard about this, but I promise you it won't be the last. And that's happened many times. So just like you guys are sitting here, my town I live in is about probably 400,000 people, okay? So Gothenburg's much bigger than that, right? So I was probably the very first one. And so you can imagine people told me, no, stay away from me, it's salt water, I'm not interested, you know, but I just kept looking for people who were looking for me. And that's how this story started. I'm also a big one about a local infrastructure. So I'm so pleased to see many of you here tonight. That's how I started. I started locally, and my business grew internationally as well. And throughout, even as hard as you try to keep it right here in this, in Ängelholm,
Yes.
It won't stay here, because we all know someone, and it starts digging around the world. And I wrote on Facebook today, city to city, state to state, and now country to country. That's what's starting to happen. And even in so many countries that we're not even open yet, people want and desire this product. And make no mistakes, we will be around the world. We're now in 15 countries. They're opening more European countries this summer. And you know, as I tell people, the train has left the station, so you can jump on the train, but if not, make sure you're, move out the tracks. The science is catching up with what we know. They're doing more and more studies, double-blind, that are just, this is irrefutable. And as a very smart man told me once before, we're all ignorant, just on different subjects, right? So if something is new to you, it doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. We're all old enough in this room, I think, to remember when antioxidants became a buzzword, right? The problem is with an antioxidant, they couldn't patent it because it's in your green leafy fruits and vegetables and your brightly colored, fruits as well. You guys, that's the deal here. We have a product that will be that big, that's so heavily patented, all right? And the ones who will benefit, not the drug company that offered huge money for it, but it's us. I have a pharmacist friend in the United States who was very skeptical about this. It took me just about 2 years to get his attention, all right? Because he would think, oh, DENI, you're just my little blonde friend. There's no way that you could possibly know more about science than I do. So he would kind of just, put me on my way. And his friend is one of my best friends, and finally she said, John, I don't care what you say, I'm going to take that stuff that DENI has, because she's an athlete and she has some issues. Well, he, being the pharmacist, thought, I better do my due diligence. My wife is going to take this. And all of a sudden, he went to PubMed.gov, which is where all the published medical research articles are. And he spent 80 hours in 2 weeks in his basement studying all of this. And he would call me and go, DENI, do you understand? Do you get this? And I'd say, John, I don't understand it like you do. I'm not, I'm not a PhD in pharmacy, but yeah, I get it. I get it. Because I've been telling people and it works, and that's what I needed to know. And so he still struggled with the network marketing portion, but one day he called me and said, Denny, I had an aha moment. He said, do you guys know what Zantac is? It's anyway, it's kind of, I think, for heartburn. Is it the heartburn? So he said, I remember when that little purple pill came on the market. And I remember thinking, I wish I could have had some stock in the company, because he said, I have filled hundreds and thousands of those little pills. And he goes, I was sitting there in the pharmacy one day and I realized, you know what, I finally have that opportunity. Here's this product, ASEA, that was headed down a drug path that would have only been available by prescription only, and the ones who get to benefit are us. Okay? So, that's the enormity. But I see so, you could, now, here's a little fun thing for all of you. Write this down. We have a website that Bob and Trish do. It's called Yes, It's Amazing. Did you tell you about that one? Yes, It's Amazing. It doesn't say the word ASEA on it, but everything is broke down to legs and eyes and bleeding and different maladies that happen in the body, and it's because people are drinking ASEA. Some are just written testimonials, some are recorded testimonials, so you might want to look at that. So yes, it's amazing.com.
It's one word.
Yes, it's amazing.com. So that's a great thing when people want to know, well, do you have a place where things are written down and we can look at it? Okay, now I want everyone to know, it is 8:45. If you need to leave, please do so. But for those of you who want to stay and knock this out for a while, I'm yours as long as you want me, okay? So how about if I be quiet for a few minutes, and that's what you're going to want to make sure you do when you talk to people. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? To listen. So make sure that you don't just talk and talk some more to people. Ask questions and listen. Find out what's happening in their life. Have some rapport. Ask about how they're doing. Ask about what's happening, what hurts, how their kids are. Because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. All right? So you need to have, relationships with people. All right. So who has a question here about ASEA or how we share?
One thing. What did Gary say
about
the last thing when you asked him about ASEA? Yeah.
He said, "Does what you're describing have a cell involved?" So that's what you need to tell people when they ask, "Will it work?" Well, does that have a cell in it? Will it help with my stomach? Well, you guys, do you remember? So the other day, clap your hands. Everyone clap your hands. I just killed trillions of cells. Just then. Can you feel that tingling sensation? Yeah. That is the signaling happening for your body to heal those. Okay? That's incredible. So you've got about 75 trillion cells in your body. Okay? You've got a trillion right to here. Okay, over a trillion right to your hands. All of these little cells communicating. Just incredible, right? Just incredible. So again, spray this in your eyes. It's amazing what happens with people's eye health. Because think about it, your eyes are one of the most cellularly active places on your entire body. Another way to kind of look at this, and again, you want to keep it simple. You want to paint word pictures for people. In the States, we have a movie called Extreme Home Makeover on TV. Have you all seen that one?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what they do. They come in and I did that to my house, by the way. You bulldoze it down and they rebuild it. I didn't build it that fast over again. But anyway, they do it very quickly. And how is it? They come and they have all of the materials, right, sitting right there, and then they have a ton of workers right here, right? And they go to work very, very quickly. Well, that's how your body is. So we're always trying to think, oh, I want to eat all my good fruits and vegetables. I want to take good supplements. Well, what happens with our body is as we get older, those little workers, They're starting to go a little bit slower. Your workforce is getting older and slower, okay? So even though you're trying to put all these good nutrients in, your body can't take care of that. So for the first time ever, we've got what we need to have to make all of those things work better, so that repair can be happening inside of your body. Your body has numerous cities in it, right? Cells, heart cells, kidney cells, toe cells, finger cells, and all of those little cities have to be rebuilt. If that's not all working correctly, that's why things aren't happening. And even though you might take ASEA because your knee has been bothering for you a long time, you might all of a sudden notice, gosh, my shoulder doesn't hurt like it used to, or I'm sleeping better, or gosh, the mental fog has lifted in my head. People often say to me, my sense of well-being has increased. I can't think of a better gift to give someone than their sense of well-being. I have, even my dad who's 84, he's like, Denny, what am I supposed to do with all this energy? Okay? I have so many Olympians and Ironmen on the product. And if this is what it's doing for those Olympians, how they're running further, faster, longer, recovering, that's why we see everyday people having such great results. All right? So, but some people, I have a girlfriend, it took 11 months to really feel something. And she actually had something that it had been almost debilitating for her, but it took 11 months. So you just never know. Now, when you drink ASEA, you might want to take a little bit and kind of swish it in your mouth. As you know, ASEA is not digested in the stomach. It goes sublingually quickly through your gums, okay, through your esophagus, and quickly throughout your body. So by the time it gets to the stomach, it's like it's going through all the pathways that water would. So when you swish it, it quickly, even goes up, to our brain very quickly as well. But you'll notice your gum tissues get better when you go to the dentist, pretty much across the board. The dentist will often go, your numbers are better. Okay? So that's a really great thing too. All right, any questions?
How about diabetes? Have you had people have a...
My mother, yes, right away, and she was only taking about 2 ounces a day, really. And she couldn't feel her feet very much, so she used to always say, I have pads on my feet. And very quickly she would call, Denny, I don't have pads on my feet, but yes, that's something we see incredible results on with people. Their numbers go down. So make sure that someone who has some real issues, they may get better, so they may need to have some of their medications adjusted. Okay? Another question?
And with children?
Yes. Now, children that have it, remember, a small child to about 6 years of age is, they say, about 100% cell effective.